Let me come to Ata Hasnain first as a military man. What do you believe is the answer? Given the fact that there are these high-profile terror attacks that continue every few months, do you really believe, Omar Abdullah believes that the terror machine is intact, Article 370 has made no difference? What's your view? Do you believe that things are better? And how should we be responding?
Thank you, Rajdeep. Thank you for inviting me for your show. And I start by expressing my very deep regrets at the loss of lives of all three officers. And I hope that these operations will go to a logical conclusion where we will eliminate the terrorists who were involved in this. As to your questions, let me be very transparent. You see, I've been to the valley only last month and a month before that. I repeatedly keep going there as I'm the Chancellor of the Central University of Kashmir also. I meet the people, I meet officials, I meet the Lieutenant Governor himself, and I look with the army, I do a lot of reviews with the army. I have a very clear opinion on this. Last 4 years, the situation has taken a drastic turn for the towards normalcy. Anyone to claim that the situation is normal today would be a fallacy. These situations are not cut and paste overnight solutions. A brave decision was taken on 5th of August. But it's going to be a very slow process. Stone throwing has been cut down. Many networks which existed here. A very anti-national media network. Lots of financial networks. Many of the narcotics networks. The overground worker networks. Many of these have been neutralized, marginalized, but have not been completely removed. All these things carry on. Strength of terrorists today estimated to be 60 to 100. This is going to remain at about 60 to 100. Local recruitment has been reduced to the barest minimum at the moment. I'm told only 7 to 8 young boys have joined this year. So things are on the positive side, no doubt about it. But for Mr. Abdullah to say that we should talk to Pakistan under these circumstances, no, I do not agree with that.
No, Omar Abdullah didn't say that. To be fair, that's what his father said. Omar Abdullah said you need to create. Omar Abdullah said you need to create. Pakistan needs to create conditions for a dialogue.
Absolutely. I'm so sorry about that, but I didn't hear the full statement from Mr. Abdullah. But yes, Mr. Farooq Abdullah said this this morning. I am of the opinion that we have to do our homework to a great extent. Ensure that the issues on which these acts of terror ride, the whole campaigns ride, have to be neutralized in a very, very effective and efficient way. We are doing it, but no one should expect that this will happen overnight and everything we will be able to get rid of overnight. Right. We will be able to reduce the footprint of terrorism, which we have already done. But it's going to take you a fairly long time to achieve anything which you may call normalcy as such.
Abdul Basit, you heard Lieutenant General Ata Hasnain saying, look, the terror machine exists and you cannot turn a blind eye to the fact that this terror machine is sponsored from across the border. The Lashkar-e-Taiba continues to operate out of your country. These are groups which have been there has been evidence brought against them for 26/11, for other terror attacks, but the machinery is not being stopped. So unless you stop the pipe, you're going to continue to have these terror attacks in Kashmir. Does Pakistan recognize what it's doing to itself and thereby, dare I say, to the Kashmir Valley?
Thank you very much. I think it is absolutely delusional on the part of Indians to think that Kashmiris would ever give up their struggle for the right to self-determination. It is absolutely delusional as far as I am concerned. Kashmiris are resolved to continue with their struggle. Until time they get their political right, their human right, they are not going to give up their struggle.
Sir, but Abdul Basit, with due regard, it is also delusionary to say that terror modules in Pakistan are not feeding this machine. Let's be clear. You cannot now. How long are we going to live in denial, Mr. Basit? Somewhere.
Ambassador Casey is saying it was during his time that Pakistan, India established a joint anti-terrorism mechanism. And it is India which continues to refuse to invoke that mechanism, unfortunately. Pakistan has always offered India to have international investigations, joint investigations. But India continues to show intransigence and stubbornness when it comes to Kashmir. So it is trying to build a narrative around the Kashmiri struggle as terrorism. That is very unfortunate. Hence, all your,
So where are the guns coming from? For God's sake, sir. I mean, let's be honest,
So
this is now,
you know,
thousands of people have died over 30 years for us
you
now
will,
to go
you
back
will,
to,
you will,
to live in denial anymore.
But that is not the root cause. The root cause is India's denial to Kashmiris their right to self-determination. So you come to the negotiating table, discuss that, and allow Kashmiris to determine their future, their
So, but the root
destination.
cause is also the,
So-
you will agree surely that the support for violence is also a major part of this. You have to accept that unless that stops, you cannot have 26/11-like attacks, or indeed what happened in Anantnag, and there are a series of attacks. That has to end. Remember, you might remember, just a minute, sir, you were there, I think. Yes. You might remember that after there was this attempt to build to reach out to Pakistan, Prime Minister Modi met then Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif in December 2015. What did we get after that? Pathankot and Uri. How do you then trust a country which is unwilling to stop its terror machine?
So what happened after Pathankot? Pakistan, unfortunately, unnecessarily registered an FIR in Pakistan. Then our SIT went to India on a very weak terms of reference. India did not even allow our team to investigate, properly cross-examine or cross-question the people, the witnesses. So you did not really cooperate. Even in the Mumbai attack trial, India is kind of procrastinating and prevaricating. India is not cooperating with
Basit
Pakistan.
Saab, you know whether it's Pathankot or Mumbai. Sir, as I said, it's time now to get out of this mood of denial. KC Singh, you want to respond to what you're hearing from Abdul Basit? Is this the standard Pakistan position that hasn't changed, or do you see any difference at all?
Rajdeep, I think the difference is, this is a very critical period because the Pakistan army is extremely strong at the moment. There's a caretaker government since August 9. And Pakistani army and the outgoing coalition of the PPP and PMLN, they are trying their best to keep Imran Khan out. There's a serious political struggle going on within Pakistan. We're trying to use all their means, including the Pakistan Election Commission, to make sure that PTI does not come out. Because if Imran Khan comes in with all his various other negatives, there is one force that fears him the most, that's the Pakistani army. Therefore, this is a period where the army is really strong. The PDM, the Pakistan Democratic Movement Coalition, which has now gone out, they have passed various laws giving much more power to the Pakistani army. Pakistani military courts can try civilians now. So there are various things, various concessions made to them. And when this internal struggle is going on in Pakistan, and there's no clarity whether elections will be held in November or they'll get postponed to March, the Pakistani army at that stage gets much greater leeway. And I think this is a signal. This is not a normal encounter. This is what I tweeted today. For a commanding officer, his deputy and a deputy superintendent to be killed is not a normal encounter. And I think Jalal Hasnain will know more about that. This to me looks like an ambush, which is very seriously planned.
Let me get this clear. Are you saying domestic conditions in Pakistan are propelling the Pakistani army to turn their attention once again to funding and fueling the terror machine?
Well, we can't deny that. And obviously, because this is a very well-planned operation in which the targeting of a commanding officer, look, enough focus is not being brought on that. It's not a normal encounter. It's the targeting of the commanding officer of a battalion which is operating there, and of a very senior officer with him, as well as the deputy. So it was a military police operation. And to have only officers directly targeted means it's a very well-planned operation. It's meant to provoke. And don't forget, those who are in Islamabad, they'll be seeing that President Xi didn't come here, the Chinese are sulking. They would like this policy of the Indian Union government to be challenged, which said that, look, we've taken care of all the militancy. We always told you it was only Article 370. And now that we got rid of that, look, there is no militancy. There are even, such arguments, when we keep making such arguments, we are inviting a challenge like this. Because nowhere in the world, even General Hasnain said, 60, 70 militants will still continue. Nowhere in the world can you just by military and security forces take care of militancy. You have to revive the political forces in the valley. You have to finally address the question of the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir. In fact, there is no channel which is going to open up with Pakistan or with at all, because their precondition is that we want to know, what was done when Article 370 went, whether that's going to be rolled back or not. So to put that in deep freeze and say we've taken care of the Kashmir problem, I think the Pakistani army is now challenging that.
General Aslan, do you believe that the Pakistani army, in a way, is seeking to once again establish its control both over the civilian leadership within Pakistan, where there is an element of chaos, and indeed send a message across the border that we are not going to, if India thinks that we've got the better of terrorism, we will continue to pour in terrorists, or we will continue to fund local militias at times?
See, Rajdeep, I would agree with what Mr. K.C. Singh has said in the first part of his statement. There's no doubt that the Pakistan army is all strong at the moment and getting stronger by the day. I'm sure Mr. Abdul Basit will be very humored by this, because he is not going to believe what I'm going to be saying. Right? There is no doubt about it. There's a huge struggle going on. But what is happening in Kashmir is based upon an ecosystem established over the last 34 years by Pakistan. And in denial, complete. That's a weapon which Pakistan has used against us very, very effectively. Diplomatically, denial under any circumstances. Right? But this ecosystem has functioned and remained there. Even today, yesterday when this operation happened, I don't believe this operation was a direct, got a kind of a contact or a direct energized operation from the Pakistan side immediately. It was something which was supported by the Pakistan ecosystem. We had good intelligence. We went in there. The officers were leading right from the front, which is what usually happens here. But it was a chance encounter which led to all three officers coming under fire together. Now, that is the bare truth which I can tell you what exactly has happened. But on the ground, that ecosystem which I spoke about is Pakistan supported. And we have to get rid of it. The Pakistan army, as it gets stronger by the day, continues to strengthen that ecosystem. It's a fight which is all of government. It's not just the army and the police against the terrorists. It's the all of government. And this is the work which is in progress at the moment. I've met the Lieutenant Governor a number of times. I find he's very strong in his development agenda, etc., the outreach to the people. And I would like to tell Mr. Abdul Basit that 60, 70 terrorists don't make up the opinion of 6 million Kashmiris. Right? It doesn't make up the opinion of 6 million Kashmiris. There are lots and lots of very patriotic, nationalistic Kashmiris who exist there in our state. It is just the nuisance which is being created by Pakistan with the select elements inside the valley. We have neutralized your separatists, most of them. We have neutralized most of the overground workers. It is just the supported terrorists which continue to remain there, and I'm sure they will be wiped out in the near future.
Abdul Basit, there is a sense of desperation that seems to have come within Pakistan, is the general belief, at least this side of the border, that Pakistan's army is getting increasingly desperate, both to try and consolidate its position within Pakistan, and also in some way reignite the Kashmiri fires, because those have died down in recent years. Do you concede in some way, Abdul Basit? Surely, you can't live in denial. I'll recall, I went to Pakistan in 2018 to cover Kartarpur, and in Rawalpindi we met the DG ISPR. He was openly defending Hafiz Saeed. Now, how can a government defend someone who's a most wanted terrorist, not just by India, but across the world? That's the problem. You have allowed these snakes in your backyard.
Rajdeep, I think India is in denial. You have put the entire Hurriyat leadership behind bars, and then you say everything is hunky-dory in occupied Jammu and Kashmir. For God's sake, release all those Hurriyat leaders, and you will see what the sentiment in occupied Kashmir is. For God's sake, you guys have been claiming that the situation has been consolidated post 5th August 2019, and all of a sudden you guys have realized that, oh no, there is internal turmoil in Pakistan.
No, we guys have seen a G20 summit being held in, sir, with due regard, we've seen a G20 summit being held in Srinagar. We've seen tourism coming up. Pakistan can't handle any normalcy in Kashmir.
The situation is indeed the same. Otherwise, you have restored the statehood. You have held the elections in occupied Jammu and Kashmir. You have released the Hurriyat leadership. You have removed the draconian laws from occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The fact of the matter is you could not have done or taken the single step towards that direction clearly shows that India is in denial. India is in and let me tell you that Pakistan and India, they need to settle the Kashmir dispute once and for all. If you think that you can consolidate your hold on occupied Kashmir, you are simply mistaken about, you perhaps do not know the hearts and minds of the Kashmiri people and what are they up to.
Okay, we'll obviously have, and sadly, it's almost deja vu. We've done these debates in a way over the last 2 decades, and I want to go right across the table one more time to look at where do we, for solutions. KC Singh, some are suggesting let's cut off all ties with Pakistan. Pakistan shouldn't even be, the cricket team shouldn't be allowed to come into India. Is that a solution? I mean, we've had previous times where we boycotted Pakistan cricket teams. We continue to not engage with them in bilaterals. The terror machine doesn't stop. Is that a solution? We've already, in a way, brought down the level of our diplomatic engagement. What is the solution, according to you, to stop the terror machine?
Look, I think part of the problem is arising because BCCI realizes the close nexus between BJP and the BCCI at the moment. We know through the son of the Home Minister, who's the General Secretary, so there's an immediate nexus. Now, a distinction has to be made between bilateral series and, say, World Cup, or you are having a South Asia Cup. Now, if there's a regional series, it's not really the right thing to do to be sabotaging all links within South Asia. Because if you say we'll not play with Pakistan, that means South Asia Cup can't be played. And if you say you can't play Pakistan in the World Cup, then why are you hosting the World Cup? Other countries will say we'll shift the World Cup from there. Now, you can't have World Cup at all. You can't be just...
could we do with Pakistan very quickly what was done during the apartheid years with South Africa as a view being expressed? Just try and create a global pressure by cutting off sporting contacts.
Well, you'll have to make all the other countries that play, you'll have to go to ICC, whether ICC are willing to boycott Pakistan or not. It may not succeed. I don't think this argument will be maybe acceptable to the other countries.
In 30 seconds, what's your solution? And then I'll go to Abdul Basit.
My solution is that you can keep a restriction on bilateral tours, but as far as your World Cup or South Asia Cup or multinational tournaments are concerned, I think we are a large country. We should, when your sporting link should not be affected by your political relations with one of the members.
Okay. Abdul Basit, diplomatic relations have been downgraded. The two countries don't even have a high commissioner in each other's country. Is there a solution beyond denial, sir? Beyond denial, is there a solution that you're going to offer me? I'm already getting people on my Twitter line saying you've invited the hardliner Abdul Basit only to target India.
No, solution to what? Solution to our bilateral relations?
Solution to violence. Solution to violence which has killed thousands of innocents. For God's sake, Mr. Basit, thousands of Kashmiri innocents have died. You claim to stand for Kashmiris. The maximum people who have died in Kashmir, sir, are Kashmiris. You claim that you'll stand for Kashmir, sir, and you'll have killed Kashmiris using the terror machine?
This is what I'm trying to submit. Unless India dispenses with its stubbornness and settles the Jammu and Kashmir dispute in accordance with the aspirations of the people of Kashmir, how can you think the Kashmiris would just give in or give up? As I told you earlier,
sir, it cannot be done with a gun. Sir, sir, you may have heard Omar Abdullah. Omar Abdullah said Pakistan needs to create conditions for a dialogue. India is open for a dialogue, but you can't do it with a gun. You can't be supporting the Lashkar-e-Taiba.
I find it bizarre, Rajdeep, that India takes illegal unilateral steps on 5th August 2019 contrary to UN Security Council resolutions against similar agreements.
Kashmir is an integral part of India's stand. They took that decision. You can argue about it, but that's the reality. You take decisions for Pakistan occupied Kashmir.
For God, no, this is what the problem is. This is what the problem is. You guys are in denial. Please get out of that situation. Otherwise, we will continue being...
Sir, for you to... Sir, come on. Sir, for you... Sir, go and tell that you are in denial to the innocents who have died, sir, over the multiple terror attacks that have taken place in country. You and I lost friends in 26/11. Go and tell their parents, sir. Go and tell their parents that you are in denial.
terror is also taking in place in Pakistan, and we all know where the links are, unfortunately. Kulbhushan Jadhav was arrested in Pakistan. You all know that. So it's a bilateral issue. For us, we also are suffering because of the terrorism.
Okay, I
can't
sir,
blame Pakistan
okay,
for that.
you're saying, Atta Hasnainji, you've heard the Pakistan view. What's your final comment? What's the solution? What is it that, we have all lost friends. I'm sure you've lost many more colleagues, battling in the line of fire. Kashmiris have sacrificed their lives. J&K police officers have lost their lives. Do you have a solution when you hear the Pakistani viewpoint? Is cricket the soft option?
Not at all, Rajdeep. Somehow I feel very awkward to be watching a match on the 17th, the final between India and Pakistan, most likely, being played out and people cheering for each other, just when we have lost 3 of our brave hearts in an operation 2 days before that. This is the kind of bizarre thing which goes on. I think under the circumstances today, the options before the government of India is to actually cut off all relations with Pakistan. Forget about sporting relations. As it is, we don't have trade ties. Let's cut off all relations. But if it comes to any kind of a compromise, we are already not playing bilaterally with Pakistan at all. If we need not play with them in multilateral competitions, etc. But we must remember the fact, we are also together in the SCO. We are also together in the United Nations. So we'll have to probably deny that aspect. Mr. K.C. Singh will probably be able to comment better. Multilaterally, wherever Pakistan and India are sitting together, we will have to make sure that either Pakistan is not there or we are not there. The same will happen to the SCO or any other multilateral setup. So that may be an aspect which we will have to look at. But at the end of the day, Government of India will take the decision, and I'm sure they will take the right decision.
Okay.